Okay, this is the paranormal investigating group. We are going to break into 3 teams and do an investigation. Logging on, what is it, July 7th?
July 7th.
At 7:45 p.m. Group 1 heads out.
He's been nice enough to let us do an investigation on her house.
This is our trainee interviewer.
That's our trainee, and this is our interviewer for ALPI. And
How are you?
he's also a genealogist.
How are you?
This looks like a fairly new house. Yeah, this is from, it was built in
1962?
Just says inside.
We're going to find us a location and set that down flat. What's going to be your job? Use it. Let it sit for a while. See if you get reading. If you do, let her know. Anything above 2 is strict. You want to let her know. She'll write it down.
Investigation for things like transformers and wires.
Like
and,
this.
Yep, to see if there's potentially any sources of excess electromagnetic radiation. Now, is that, looks like 2 electric meters?
Yeah. Well, this is a 2.
Oh, so this is
used to be an
2-family?
apartment. This used to be 2-family.
It used to be, but it's not now.
Not longer because the mother has died.
I wonder what's become. Okay, but it's still on 2 meters.
Correct.
I wonder if there's. All right.
There was a woman, her mother lived here, and her mother has passed away.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. Take her inside with her EMF.
Okay.
So that we can try to get a quiet reading.
Most of the houses are of an older period, and this house is much newer than anything else on this block.
Yes,
These are
the,
gotta be
I
40s.
wonder if it's replacing something.
The upper, there's 1 block up, and for 3 blocks down that way. So the fact that all the houses are built the same way.
Yeah.
These were actually, there was actually 4 streets here in the 1920s. It was just one big, massive production of houses, and then the properties were sold off parcel by parcel. There are 2 major geo issues here. One of them is the Erie Canal is less than 2 blocks from here, running parallel to the street.
I didn't know that.
Yes. The other one is, in fact, next to the Erie Canal was a huge lumber trench that was dug next to the Erie Canal for major, we're talking on the scale of statewide to northeast-wide lumber running north and south of New York State. To give you a little history of the area, the Van Rensselaers actually owned, that land was trusted to them. The trustees were still in power even though the children had parcels of the property. And as each of the children died and went back to the trust, it was never ever taken off the books for 50 plus years that it was the father's property.
We are just a tiny bit below ground level.
Okay, now back here is the source of a lot of her problems, this back bedroom. We were just in there just now taking an EVP of it, and we both had the same exact sensation. I'd like to know if you all feel it as well.
Okay, so you're getting some.
Snap away, Andy.
You're getting a little bit of heightened activity.
Yep. Or is that the attic, which is directly above us, extremely active.
Noise-wise.
Noise-wise. Cynthia and I heard it. Cynthia and I felt it. It's pretty intense upstairs.
What kind of noises?
Banging. Like
Like
shoving,
we just heard?
Like what we just heard. Like shoving boxes. Like somebody's upstairs in the attic, like pushing
scrolls up
boxes.
in there.
Yeah, come look at her pictures.
Oh,
They're
how
phenomenal.
interesting is that?
I'll turn off your light out here, Sid.
It almost is a vortex.
What's interesting is the fact that she said that that is not stationary.
That's not stationary. That would follow me from my office out to over after Debbie told
Here's
me
an image
there's
she
something
took.
in the room. And I did clean out
Appears
a lot
to
of
be
my
like
brother's stuff.
almost wispy
First I was
smoke.
crazy.
Your brother?
In there. My brother had some stuff
Blinded.
there for like 10 years.
To note is that it
was
is
just there. His
apparently
clothing,
the end of a roll of
underwear,
film.
everything. It was like, and at one point I gave something away from my grandmother, and I was getting this constant.
So it seems to be tied into emotional kinds of events and activity.
Yeah.
All right. Group 2 of intrepid paranormal investigator trainees preparing to journey to the location. Is everyone ready and excited?
Yes.
All right. We're preparing to go in with Team 2 to investigate the house on Lawn Avenue.
The upstairs area is extremely suspicious areas as well. Most particularly this room. The first group that was here, we all experienced the same exact sensation.
We see a little bit of what appears to be moisture. Not that the moisture necessarily in and of itself would cause anything, but it could cause everything from warping. It could cause shorting of electrical wires that happen to be lying there. It could run through steel beams and through walls and could cause all manners
kinds
of
of strange
disturbances.
manifestations.
Precisely. So what we want to do is we want to look around the room. You want to note your environment. There's been a variety of things that have been experienced in here, ranging from voices to strange feelings of dizziness or oppressiveness. So there is a power box, and they all appear to be active circuits. All right. And this is the adjoining room to the one where there is activity. Okay, now we're going to take a look up in this attic where she's had some experiences.
Thanks. They're going into the attic.
I see a cross has been hung. An insulation foundation of her attic. Appears to have a ridge vent. I am hearing some clicking and popping. And I keep hearing a clicking and popping over my head. Yeah, and the other fan area isn't open in any way that anything could get in. Again, the popping and clicking over my head, which is odd. So it's an active box.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
there. Very active. How far back do you have to go before it drops?
Right about
Pretty much
here.
right up to there. Okay.
Yeah.
You're spiking out at like 8 or 9. Now hold it back, like the middle of the room here. What's the base reading far away from it? Our base
It's fast.
reading is almost nothing, 0 nearly. Resetting it. So we have a base of like somewhere between 0 and 2. Now let's go back into this room over here, where the activity's been reported. I want to see if we're getting any odd EMF readings in here.
If I
Now
step back,
come in
you're
here. I want to
okay.
see what you get in this room. I hope you guys weren't doing. What are you getting? Is it elevated?
About 5.
It's about 5 with nothing around, just normally occurring. What do we? So we're 5, 5. Walk around this whole room. 5, 5, 4, 3, 3.
3.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
Nothing.
Nothing.
I see the power boxes. That's from the power boxes.
Okay.
All right, but why is it spiking so highly here?
And
With
4.
nothing. It's way
Is there
up.
an outlet over there?
The closet don't come this far.
I'm not
Really?
The closet only goes to about the beginning of that thing there.
Chimney,
There's at least
probably.
2 feet of empty space.
Chimney, I bet.
Yeah, that closet only goes about to where your hand is. This,
No, I'm not getting as high as a reading as I was
Okay,
before.
so there's a void space behind the wall. Do you think maybe a part of it was that plug was loose?
Well, because I'm putting it by the plug now, it's not even going half as
It
high
was
as
hanging
it was.
out. We fixed it. All right. Now stand back. The rest of the room is all down, right? The whole
Yeah.
room, just this one area over here, is giving us a
Nothing
spikiness.
now.
You're welcome. I'm sorry.
Exactly one arm span.
When I go upstairs, my head would
Yeah.
feel, it gets like,
Several of us felt the same thing.
you just
felt.
get like
Yep.
a cloud goes in, and it's like,
We
all right, what's
Agreed.
aunt passed
Everybody.
away in the playroom.
Which room?
This room right here.
The room on the
first
corner.
room. My mother and my aunt both passed away in '92.
Okay.
My
And this was
aunt
at some
passed
point a
away.
two-family house
Correct. Before we, yes.
before you got it. Now, did you convert the wiring from two-family to one-family, or was it two
No,
double
it's still
zone?
2-family right now.
Okay. Now you were going to tell me something about the wiring.
Only part time the house was damaged is on the side of the house.
Okay.
Only with the attic.
Only by the attic. What was damaged?
The wires came down.
The wires came down. When did you start experiencing these? The phenomenon that have occurred?
For
Just after your mother died.
after my grandmother
After your
passed,
grandmother died.
last November.
Last
Then I
November.
noticed.
So it had been a couple of years since the tree damaged the roof.
Right.
Okay. And there's been no electrical issues or disturbances since, and that heavy feeling hasn't been around
No,
until
not as
fairly
bad.
recently.
Until
Okay.
fairly recently for another. Last year it was one family situation. Now it's another family situation. So
Okay.
everything came up again.
So it's following more emotional experience that
Correct.
you're having.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, thanks.
Is it really?
We are seeing orbs very clearly manifesting. So we did the sweep. We went through the property. We looked around. We investigated. What are some of the things people noticed as factors within the environment that might have influenced potential activity, manifestations, or symptoms that she may have picked up on?
There was like a real thickness to the bedroom she wouldn't use anymore. It was a very thick atmosphere. I had a little trouble breathing in there.
But these are good things to notice, is that it is below grade level. There is moisture, as evidenced by some of what we saw. There are possibly electrical things. How about the electricity? Anybody notice anything weird with the electricity?
You just feel that they got more electric in that place than they actually need.
And then you can feel the electricity.
Speaking of the electricity, she said during the interview that a number of times since she's been there, at least, I don't know about before then, but since she's been there, they've had a number of storms in the area that have knocked trees or limbs in the area of the power lines, and the power lines are constantly getting ripped out of her building because of that, which would cause issues in the lines within the building, as well as constant rewiring on the building.
Yes,
The
they
grandmother,
Okay.
her grandmother, and her aunt.
Our Aunt Sheila.
Sheila.
Okay.
Her aunt Sheila was in a coma for 10 days in the house until she died.
Okay.
The homeowner had also mentioned that items from one room have been moved to another room, not by her aunt.
And in another interview with me, she has mentioned green orbs going towards the corner of the property, as well as being in the house.
A lot of the unrest seems to be around an Uncle Ricky
Yeah.
because his urn was removed from the house.
Yeah. Putting
And
them
his
in
last
gardens.
wishes were never acknowledged.
Right.
She has indicated that since she's been there, she has been trying to do some upgrades to the house, and the next upgrade is getting the wiring done, because she truly believes that the wiring hasn't been touched since 1962, when supposedly the house was built, which does include old wires and two-prong outlets.
When we went to the box, it was all the way up to as high as it would go.
As high as it would go.
And it also did the same thing at the outlet, but we found that one of the plugs was loose. And
Now-
then when they plugged it back in, the reading did go down some.
So whatever it was, there was a pretty powerful surge of man-made electromagnetic energy going on in that room.
Yeah.
And that would do things like make you nauseous,
Right.
make you dizzy, make you
Yeah.
tingly, and do some of the other things. Now, I'm not saying that accounts for everything, but I think there's an electrical issue.
We don't know. Nobody does. If the power lines are causing it without anything else, or if that is just letting something come in that ordinarily you wouldn't
Right.
see. So
I
we're
was-
back to square one
I
again.
was just about to
Or
say.
whether it's affecting the perception by
Yeah.
affecting the
Like the aunt who
brain.
They had a situation exactly like that in Colorado. The woman was seeing things in her bathroom. She saw a man walk through her wall. It's like, holy cow. So every night there was some weird thing going on. And she, too, was surrounded with power lines. And she had that William Roll, that parapsychologist, come out there, and he found that out.
Really?
But he said the same thing. Everybody's always back to square one. He's like, okay, is this affecting her mind and her perception of what she's seeing that really isn't there? Or is the electromagnetic field allowing something to be seen that ordinarily would never be detected?
What we want to do for next time is we want everybody to think about this stuff, look at whatever evidence you have. I'll look at this video, you guys look at pictures, audio, whatever you have, and we want to come up with an actual recommendation that we want to give back to the homeowner. What do we think? Do we think you have a paranormal? Do we think there's paranormal activity, or do we have explanations? And I think the consensus at this point is that you may have an electrical issue, partially normal, but that there's maybe something more than that going on, too. So, but we want to look at the evidence and see what else we have.